Hi everyone, and welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be drawing and painting a landscape. So you're going to want a nice thick white piece of paper, a pencil or something to draw with, and then you're also going to need a paintbrush and some blue, white, and black paint. I'm using Crayola washable tempera paint, but you can use any kind of gooey paint that you'd like. So we're going to start off by drawing today, and we're going to be drawing a landscape. So my paper is side to side. Our landscape is going to be full of some blue mountains. My mountains are going to be kind of jagged or zigzaggy. So I'm going to start towards the top of my paper, and I'm going to do some nice zigzags. You could have some taller or some shorter than others. I'm going to do that all the way across my paper, left to right, horizontal. I'm going to be kind of looking back into these mountains, so I'm going to have kind of this side ziggy-zag. And I'll make a different color. I'm going to go across again. I'm going to kind of start where that last ziggy-zag took off. These ones may not be as tall. You can have some more shaped like trees than rocks or mountains. You have some more curvy, some more bumpy than zigzag, or they can all be zigzag. I'm going to make another line under that, so I have a row of mountains, another row of mountains or trees and rocks, and then this might be some water in my landscape. I'm going to add in, kind of like I did over here, I'm going to add in kind of a side rock or formation over here. And then maybe I have one right here. So right now my art is looking very abstract, but I'm going to be doing some color mixing to help me out with that. I always mix light to dark. That way I don't have to clean out my brush. But if you like to work kind of back and forth, you can get a cup of water and go from there. So I'm going to be mixing tints. That's my color plus white to lighten it. And I'm also going to be making shades today. And I also want to keep blue just plain blue. So let's start with just blue today. I'm going to get some on my brush, and I'm going to do that in that little area I added to the side and over here. If you want to change that and make your blue in a different space, it won't make a big difference. Remember, with your brush, you want it nice and smooth. If you have those thin, smooth spaces, you might hold your brush more on the tip or the end like you would a pencil or marker. Go all the way up. Sometimes it helps, just like when we're coloring with crayon, to get right up to the edge or outline it first and then fill in the space. Notice I have my painting on a piece of paper so that if I get some on behind it, it's okay. It kind of catches all that paint. I'm going to do all the areas I want plain blue first. I can fill them in. If you have multiple brushes at home, you can use a big brush and then a skinny brush and kind of go back and forth. If you don't have paint, you could try to use something else like oil pastels, or you could use crayon. And just see if you can find a darker or lighter. You don't get that nice mixing experience of tints and shades like you do with paint. You can try using watercolor as well. Okay, so I am ready to mix to make my first tint, because remember I want to start lighter. So what I'll do is actually add just a little bit of blue and a lot of white together. Blue is a pretty strong pigment, so I'm going to add quite a bit of white so I can make that part. I use a nice paper plate so I can mix around. I have a nice big space, and then when I'm done I don't have to clean it. I can just throw it away. So see how it's lightening it? Now I have this nice light blue or tint. I'm going to put that color in this first row of mountains that I made, so all back in here. When you get close to another color, slow down so we're not mixing them into this big blob. If you get out of your lines a little bit, and if you use pencil, it's okay. It'll cover it right up. Still keeping those nice clean lines, smoothing out all those big bumps and lumps. We don't want any piles. We're not doing texture today. Smooth it out. Go up. I'm going to keep going all the way across. Up, 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 up. If you didn't mix enough of your color, you might have to take a little time to mix more up or try to spread out more of that paint till you have enough to color that whole space. I haven't switched colors yet. I haven't mixed a new one. I'm taking my time and filling in those areas. Making my art nice and smooth, clean, all the way over. Sometimes if you didn't get it mixed all the way, you can kind of cheat a little bit and mix it up really good so it's all that same color on your paper. I'm going to leave the top of this white. If you wanted to make another tint and put it up there that's a little lighter, you could. But that's going to be kind of like my sky. And then it goes down into these nice mountains and trees. You could also see some water in here. All the way across. Almost done with that one. That was my biggest area. It's going to take me the most time. Once you get that space filled in, you're ready for your next color. I'm going to make another tint, but I'm going to make a darker tint. So I need even more blue, and I like to just scoop up a blob, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of white this time. So it should look noticeably darker than that last tint, but it's still lighter than my original blue. I'm going to put that underneath these mountains, all the way up to that line that was kind of curvy. Remembering to slow down when you get close to other colors. And you'll see it's so close to that it almost looks like the same blue, but as they get close to touching here, you'll see that one is still darker. It's not a shade yet. I didn't have to add any black to my blue yet to darken it. I just was able to create that light tint blue with just a little white, and then one that was a little darker with a little less white and more blue. Go all the way across, get all the way up to their touching. This is where if you messed up or if you didn't like what you drew, you can kind of change or alter that as you paint. Not going to make any big changes, just enough that I can clean up my design. Alright, I'm on to my last two colors. I don't really need to clean out my brush, but if you like to, you can. I'm going to make my first shade. So this time, I'm going to take a little blue and a little black and mix them up. I want this to be kind of light, but I'm not adding any white to it. I'm darkening up that blue with just a little bit of black. Mixing it all up. And I'm going to put that in this next area. So kind of here around that triangular shape, I'm going to put my first shade. It should be darker than my tints that I made. And it should also be darker than that just plain blue that I used. All the way across, being very careful and mindful of where I'm putting my hand and my brush so that I'm not getting messy with paint. I'm not accidentally getting my hair or my hand into it or my clothes. This project's a good project if you have a paint shirt at home or paint smock or apron, you might want to put it on. If you have long sleeves or jackets, you could take them off or roll up those sleeves. Go all the way in this last little white area, taking my time around those blues. Mine even looks kind of like water. Painting side to side and up and down where I have to. Smooth across, dipping my brush often in that paint. Not so much that I have those blobs. The last color I'm going to mix today, I'm going to darken up my blue one more time, but this time I'm going to add more black to it. So if you have left over from that last shade, you can just add more black. Now this is going to be so dark, it's going to look more black than blue now. It should be darker than that last shade that I made, but it's not completely black, but it is dark. You can kind of see that blue shining through in that last little space. When you're done, don't forget to clean out your brush, clean your paint palette, or throw your palette away, and make sure you post a picture of you with your art. I enjoyed making this Tints and Shade landscape with you today. Can't wait to see what you've done. Have a great day.